Yes,
I hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Please share your presentation. And let's start.
السلام عليكم. يسرني كثيراً أن أشارك في هذه المحاضرة. سنلتقي شخصياً في المرة القادمة إن شاء الله في عمان. أتكلم اللغة العربية قليلاً لكن الآن سنتكلم الإنجليزية. Dear colleagues, I just introduced myself saying that I've been working in process safety for the last 25 years. And looks like a huge time span, don't you think? During this time, we have seen so many changing, switching from analogical PLC to fully digitalized DCS, Internet of Things. And we would expect that more or less the same change would have impacted the process safety accidents. But if we look at the numbers, we see something quite different. If we look at the small accident, like a very small loss of containment, the number has indeed decreased. But if you look at the huge one, the disaster that has been shown, analyzed, and detailed by our colleagues in these days, they are still there. And the question is why they keep happening. And Director Trish from IKE has illustrated that most of them are related with human errors. How can we bring process safety and human behavior together? And our process safety director, Dr. Arturo Trujillo, will show you and all of us the tool that we have developed in the last years in DECRA to bring those things together, and we call it organizational process safety. Just a few words about DECRA. We are a huge firm in the testing, inspection, and consulting sector. We do process safety testing in our own labs for the properties of dangerous materials. We do process safety consulting, training, competence development, and all other issues related with the services related with the process safety. At the moment, our team can consider 120 process safety specialists, most of them chemical engineers. So typically when a huge firm or a small company come to us, they are asking for ASOP, management of change, cultural assessment, QRA, training, testing. So what's going on? Why are they asking this? What they are looking for is an increase, an improvement of their process safety performance indicators. And the way to achieve this is what we are trying to give you to help in this difficult path. So I leave it to my colleague Arturo. Arturo, can you join in?
Yes, sorry, I was trying to share my screen. Yes. So when we receive this type of request, something that we typically ask ourselves is, and ask this client that is requesting a HACCP, is why do you want to HACCP all your processes? Or why do you think you need to improve your management of change process? Or why do you need a cultural transformation? As Mauro said, typically we want to improve our process safety performance, and DECRA has developed organizational process safety, or OPS, to do that. Why we developed OPS? First of all, you will see a few quotes in this presentation, quotes from people smarter than us, certainly smarter than me, from the past. The first one is from William Thomson, Lord Kelvin, the guy that invented the thermodynamic scale of temperature that we use today. It's long, you can read faster than I can speak, and you will get the presentation anyways. But a former boss of mine used to summarize it saying, if you cannot measure it, it doesn't exist. So that's basically where we stand in terms of process safety. If you cannot measure your performance, and that is the same for every aspect in life. If you don't measure your performance, you are not going to improve. And amazingly enough, that was also one of the conclusions of the Baker panel after their investigation. Keeping track of your performance is an essential condition to improve. Or in our own words, if you don't know where you are, you don't know how far you are from your target, and you don't know which direction you need to start to move. Traditional auditing doesn't necessarily cover these objectives because they usually try to measure compliance against some standard. So you have a standard for, I don't know, for environmental management, for energy efficiency, for whatever. And what you are doing in an audit is making sure that you comply with this standard. And typically, this type of audits do not take into account the softer elements, the cultural and capability elements. So at DECRA, we believe that the relationship between these technical elements and the organizational elements is key to ensure the appropriate performance in process safety. And that's a second sentence that we like. That's from Carl Gustav Jung, the famous psychologist. And that is also applicable to many other aspects in life. You are what you do, not what you say you'll do. And we have seen many times around procedures for, you name it, HACCP, management of change, anything related to process safety that look fantastic on paper, but don't work very well in real practice. And I think one of the former of our former speakers spoke about why HACCPs and LOPAs fail. They look fantastic on paper, but they don't reflect reality. On the other hand, the quest for excellence in process safety is a never-ending journey, but a thrilling one. And the steps to perform this never-ending journey are always the same. You assess your maturity level, then you identify areas for improvement. You apply some changes to start improving these areas. You monitor continuously the impact on the organization, and of course, you enjoy success and celebrate wins before restarting the wheel by assessing organizational maturity again. To measure, to go along this trip, this journey towards excellence, you need a roadmap. So a way that a mechanism that tells you where you are and in which direction you go. So that's in our analogy, that's a GPS navigator that you have in your car. It tells you where you are and in which direction you want to go. And a vehicle, the system, the process safety management system that you're going to build. And you have the order of these two elements is not at random. You need first to understand where you want to go, and then you can choose your vehicle. I mean, if you are going to have tea with the Queen, that Rolls-Royce would be a fantastic vehicle. But if you want to go across the sea, then you need a different type of vehicle. So that is the system. We have created this OPS. We decided not to invent the wheel. We built on top of the CCPS element, the CCPS model. We grouped a little bit differently the 20 elements. We grouped them in 7 what we call work streams, 5 of them technical and 2 organizational and cultural elements. So culture and capability. And on top of that, we have built a ruler. We have built a system that allows us to measure maturity in every one of the 20 elements and every one of the 7 work streams. So for every one of them, we can decide whether the this element is ranked as burden, necessity, priority, goal, values, or world class. Again, you will receive this this presentation afterwards. I understand, so I will not go in detail in every one of those categories, but clearly, burden is something that stays in the way and prevents you from doing something else that you want. And we will understand what world class means in terms of anything. So how it is typically one of these OPS assessments done? We first request some preliminary information. With this information, the paperwork, these documents that may look good but not reflect a real performance. Then with these documents, we analyze them, we digest them, and we build an assessment plan. And then once we hit the site, we have a kickoff meeting to explain the assessment plan. We do site activities, tours, and interviews. And we want to emphasize that while the team of assessors is at site, what we do mostly is do things that need to be done at site. So we speak with people at the site. We look at how the site looks like, how operations are conducted, and this type of thing. So we are not looking at papers during our site visit. Then we have a closeout meeting where we can advance some results. And of course, we issue a final detailed report with this GPS, with this position now and the direction you need to go. So the score on every one of the 20 elements and 7 work streams, and also a list of suggested interventions for improvement. That's the type of result that you get from the assessments. Lots of tables and charts showing you what is your score in every your maturity level in every one of the work streams, and also a list of selected interventions. We have digitalized this measuring tool, of course. So it's in what we call the DECRA safety platform, a cloud system that allows us access from anywhere and collects data in a central location. And that is our GPS. As I was saying, you get this current position, your direction for improvement, and also a set of KPIs or waypoints to measure that you are moving in the right direction. So then we can go back to our initial question and ask ourselves, why do you want to do HACCPs? Because HACCPs are the shortest path or the easiest way, the low-hanging fruit to improve my process safety maturity. Or you want to do a cultural transformation because you have objective measurement that your culture is what is preventing you from a better safety performance. The advantage of this methodology.
Mr. Arturo, you have 2 minutes.
Perfect. Thank you very much. So we can obtain an accurate picture of the performance. This picture is objective, precise, repeatable, and reproducible in the usual terms of any measurement system. It identifies optimal interventions to improve organizational maturity, and it uses a reliable metric allowing benchmarking across sites, geographical areas, business sectors, or whatever. And that was my last presentation, my last slide. And as I understand, we will have an open discussion afterwards. So that was it, and we will be Mauro and I will be happy to try to answer any questions that you may have.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Arturo. My colleagues, Engineer Yaqub, have a question. Please, Mr. Yaqub.
Mr. Arturo, you said that you have KPI or key performance indicator or success performance indicator for every process safety elements. What the KPI for the process safety culture?
Oh, it depends. It depends on the because we perform. I mean, we have a standard list of KPIs that we can use for culture. That's clear. But then the advantage of the method is that we can fine tune the KPIs for the specific what we call key features, essential features and key elements inside the element where we find the weakest point. So if in one element, perhaps you are scoring low, but you will have some strong points in this element and some weaker points. So then we issue some recommendations to improve on these weak points, and of course the KPIs go strongly linked to these interventions. So you need to measure that your interventions are being successful. So out of this list of maybe in case of culture, I'm speaking from my heart, but I think it's like 20 different KPIs. We need to select those that will measure that you are applying successfully the suggested interventions. If you can send me an email, I can send you like a list of the KPIs for the cultural elements, at least the global list, and then you can have a look.
Sure thing.
Thank you, Mr. Arturo and Mauro. Next, our key speaker, James McVeigh,